Peace and blessings, family. I'm over here. I'm supposed to be doing some work. I brought all my stuff outside. I'm trying to answer some emails and stuff, but it's just so nice. I thought I'd jump out here and go live. I haven't been live on IG with you all in a while because we're building a new platform to get you guys ready to transition over. So welcome. I am Caesar, young black gifted revolutionary, joined us. Welcome, welcome. You know, I wanted to come out and just answer some questions. Brother Lamont, assalamu alaikum, everyone. I wanted to answer one question that's been a theme because, you know, we talk a lot about on the Mind of an Entrepreneur show about creating an ecosystem and about developing partnerships and things like that. And so I thought it'd be a good idea to just jump out here and say a few words to kind of spark your thoughts about partnerships. So excuse my squinting. It's super sunny out here and I love the sun. So that's why you see me squinting a little bit. So partnerships. I realized early on in my career that finding good partners on projects, on jobs, on certain businesses is really, really important, and it can be beneficial. And so I started out really trying to figure out this whole partnership thing. And what I didn't realize is that a partnership is sort of like a marriage. One of the best businesses that I helped to work and build and put together, I started with a partner. And then I kind of got my feet wet in the partnership space. And then I went into partnership with Dr. Dormu for the Minimally Invasive Vascular Center. That was a really great partnership. And we're still partners on other projects to this day. So it just kind of works. But let me just tell you some things that you should do. Until you get to know somebody and until you understand what their relationship is with money, just like any other relationship, you need to court them. You need to just talk to them. See what their daily routines are like. See how they roll. See what they do before you jump off into a full-fledged partnership with somebody. Trust me, I have been burned, and had so many businesses just kind of blow up and explode on me from bad partnerships. So if you're in a position where you're a subject matter expert on something, going into the partnership as a consultant can be a good way to do it, or as an advisor. That's another way to do it. That allows you to get to know each other, see how that person rolls. How are they on a day-to-day basis? Because everybody does not have a good relationship with money. Many of us are really still working on it. It's something that you always work on, but some of us are at different levels. And so that's important because that will dictate how they treat their employees. That will dictate how they treat other vendors. That will dictate how they treat you when it comes time to dividing up the debt and the revenue. So get to know that person and how they do business, how they function. Because what you might find out when you get into business with them is that maybe they have a lot of bad complaints because of how they handle things. Maybe they're really good, but their customer education isn't that great. What do I mean by that? Many a times, especially as black people, we go into business and we open up business opportunities to other people, which is great. We open those business opportunities up, and then guess what happens? We find out that we probably should have done a little educational process first, because sometimes people's lack of education creates certain expectations that might be unrealistic, might be incorrect. It just may bring out certain things in their money psychology. And so all of a sudden now, you start having complaints. You're trying to bring people into your business, but people don't understand. Some people are so desperate, and you have to explain to people, maybe it's not a get money rich quick scheme. Maybe this is a long-term project. Maybe this is a project that's going to take a little bit more time. But you want to explain to people how their money will be returned to them, how they will make their equity back, how they will gain more equity. You want to explain all that process, and oftentimes you have to educate them. It's just like in healthcare. Dr. Norma and I created a patient education process so that we could educate the patient so that they understood what to expect. You have to do the same thing in your business. So don't go into business with somebody until you understand how they handle that. Because some people are all about the money, and they want the money, but they don't really invest a lot in educating their customers. Because an educated customer is a good customer, because then they will be able to see the value and what it is that you bring to the table. So be very careful. Even if you meet somebody, you may like them, y'all may seem very cool, y'all might connect on a one-on-one personal level, but do a project with them first. Do work with them on something first. Become a consultant for them first. Become an advisor, maybe to their business first, so that you kind of see how they roll. What are their communication levels like? One of the worst things you can do in business with your customers is to not communicate with them. I'm the kind of person, I err on the side of over communicating. I over communicate to my stakeholders, and I over communicate to my customers and anybody that's expecting anything from me. People I partner with, I communicate. I create group chats where I'm just sharing different things that are happening. That allows people to connect to the vibration and the rhythm of the project, and therefore they won't have a lot of unrealistic expectations or expectations you can't meet. And what you will find is that when y'all fall out, or if y'all fall out, those people will be saying to you things like, you know, I thought this or that. And you'll be saying to yourself, or even to them, I don't even know where you got that from. So before you go into a partnership with somebody, understand how they work. What is the rhythm? For example, I'm the kind of person, I work at a very intense and rapid pace. Some people who are a little bit more pedestrian and they kind of chill, and maybe it takes them 2 weeks to get a press release out or a week to get something done, will have a hard time with me, and I would have a hard time with them. I'm the kind of person, if I want to do something and I have that idea in my head, my wheels are flowing on how to make that a reality. If I say, hey, I'm going to make coins out of this copper on the building, then my wheels are flowing on how to get that done. Whatever it is that I'm working on, I'm constantly moving in that direction to make sure that not only is my word bond to myself, but my word is bond to the project. So before you partner, and I got to tell you guys this because I know we're so anxious to have help. We're so anxious. Some of us are short-staffed. We feel insecure. We don't feel like we can do it on our own. We're anxious to expand. We really want to be millionaires. We want to make all this money, and all of that is good. But you want to make sure that you understand how this person rolls. What kind of complaints does that person have against their business? I'm not saying if that person has a lot of complaints that you can't do business with them, but what I am saying is that it gives you an opportunity to understand why they have those complaints. Do they have those complaints because they don't educate their consumers? Do they have those complaints because they go radio silent on people? I'm dealing with a vendor now that provided us some products and services for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House, and they went radio silent for a very long period of time. And they also went radio silent when the shipping took extra time. And then the shipping finally came in, and then they woke up like some kind of dope fiend, like, oh, we need payment, we need payment. And I'm like, slow it down, because we still have to take inventory of the items. We still need to make sure everything works. But they're like pressing, can we meet today? Can we meet now? When can we get a check? So that's the style of work that is uncomfortable for me, because I'm the kind of person, I won't go radio silent during that period of time. You know, I'll say something like, hey, even if I know I'm going to go radio silent, like, hey, I'm about to go to Africa for a month. I might be out of the loop. Or there's a few steps that I need to put in play before I execute the contract with you, so that they kind of know that there's some other things that has to happen before. Hey, let's break this down in phases, you know, whatever it is that we need to do. So don't be so quick to jump off into these partnerships, because you will ruin a great relationship by making it a partnership when you didn't have the courtship right in the first place. The courtship can be any number of things. It can be being a consultant with that person, creating like a mini project or something that's even smaller, just to see how they work. I'm the kind of person, I can't have no extended, I always say to people, the way my autism works, I can't have an extended period of time between when we say we're going to do something and when we execute. That messes with my autism. I need to see it. I need to see things popping. I need to have communication. It's got to flow for me. I got to say, okay, let's break this down into micro goals. Let's get these micro goals done. That's how I'm able to make things manifest. Okay, we want to make $1 million. Let's break this down into micro goals. What does that look like? How do we need to flow towards that? How much is that a week? How much is that a month? How many customers is that? How many people do I need to have a conversation with? So if you work with me, the way my autism works is that I can't, those long extended period of times, I can't even just wait. Okay, so I have to have micro goals. So even if it's something that I know is going to take a year to put together, then in the course of that year, I'm working on myself. I'm working on creating the mental condition. What is it going to be like when that thing gets done in a year? Or when we reach step 10 in a year? What is my mindset like when we get there? How am I going to feel when we get there? What do I expect? What do I want to do when we get there? That way, as I'm moving forward, those micro goals that maybe I can't do physically, I have to do them mentally on a conditioned basis. And so when I found my business partner, Dr. Jeffrey Dormo in Maryland, he works the same way. And so we would celebrate the fact that every single day we had some kind of reward or progress in our business. We couldn't wait to debrief at the end of the day so I could say, oh, let me tell you, these 5 things happened today, or this one big thing happens today, or we got this phone call today. We couldn't wait to debrief each other on what we were experiencing, because we were able to realize that our mind worked in the same way. And so it became kind of like, you know, just being excited to have that at the end of the day. So if we had to order dinner into the office and just sit down at the conference room and go, hey, look, this is what happened today. Here's a follow-up on this or this. And it was exciting and it was fun. There was not a radio silence between us, so that it starts to be filled with our own thoughts, our own insecurities. And then I made sure, and he made sure, we made sure each other had the right relationship with money. Some people do not have a good relationship with money. They're good people, they're nice people, but you don't really see them manifesting on a financial level. They have projects that they never get off the ground. It's just not going well. Why? Because they might not have a good relationship with money. So we took that kind of courtship time to make sure we had a good relationship with money. How are you with vendors? Are you into debt? Are you the kind of person that you steal, wherein you steal time and you always trying to get out on people? So when you get a blessing, you act like you stole it. You go off in the corner over there and bury it in the sand and don't let nobody know. That's fine if that's how you are. And if you get somebody that, you know, either balances that out or you all roll together like that, that's okay. But it's very important. I don't care how spiritual that other person is. I don't care how much in love with that person that you are. I don't care how much you like their personalities. You want to make sure that a lot of your instincts can be used towards your goal. You know, I like people that kind of like to roll the way I roll. And that makes it easy for me to feel like I don't have to close a gap. So I can just keep elevating the project. I like people who like to eat at the same time that I like to eat. I like people who, like to do things in the morning. I'm a morning person. So by 9, 10 a.m., I've done a lot. So if you're not a morning person, you might have a hard time with me because I'm going to be firing emails. I'm going to be calling you. I'm going to be texting you. Some people might say, well, I think it's better because if we're opposite, if I'm a morning person and my partner's a night owl, that's fine, but you got to find a way to close that gap. How do you all communicate? Because if that person's at their mental and emotional peak at 7 p.m. and you're at your mental and emotional peak at 5 a.m., you got to figure out, how do you come together? How do you deal with vendors? Some people think that in order to do business, they got to act mean. I've been on the phone with people. It's funny because sometimes, even doing business with Muslims, we treat everybody like we the captain and the lieutenant and they're the private soldiers, and we can be disrespectful. Yes, no, I don't know. Just being real snippy and snappy. That works for some people. For me, I'm very, very careful with how I handle people. I'm very careful about the impression I give to people. I'm very careful about being an asset to people. So that doesn't work for me. So if you're working on a team with me and you are a little bit verbally abusive, we won't be able to jam together on that project. But a lot of times you don't know that until you work with that person. Other things like how you pay your people. Some people pay people the very minimum. They don't want to pay a lot. And so they don't even want to pay people, period. Well, for me, I like making sure that people are comfortable. I want people to be able to come up as a result of connecting with me. Another thing is impression. Some people don't care what kind of impression they give. For me, I'm always taking responsibility, or I try to take responsibility for the energy I bring to the room. And so I try not to bulldoze over people or dog people out or bully people or intimidate people. Try to be an asset. So it'd be tough for me to be in business with somebody who is always woe is me or negative, and you see them always posting negative stuff online, or I'm careful about even saying things that are negative about myself, my business, or anybody else to somebody else. Even if I post something, I'm making sure that I'm not posting things that are negative. Sorry, my phone is ringing. I'll grab that later. So that's important to me. Why? Because the way I see it is, if there's potentially 1 million people that are going to see my posts, what I want those 1 million people to be giving back to me in energy is any type of vibrational level that's going to support what it is that I want. So I'm not necessarily interested in sympathy, not interested in negativity. So you don't see me post those kind of things that elicit that kind of stuff. But sometimes people do. Again, like I said, I like to communicate. I'm just giving you some examples of how you should court potential partners, business partners. Very much like a marriage, very much like a relationship, very, very much like paying attention to how you all would roll on a day-to-day basis. Do you support one another? I'm the kind of person, I believe that everybody should have somebody in their life that spoils them. So if I'm your business partner, if I'm your partner in a relationship, when I have a husband, listen, I'm supporting you 99.9% of the time, 110%. I'm pushing forward. Whatever it is you want, whatever you want to do, I'm sending you energy. I'm doing everything I can to push you to that next level. I'm the same way with business partners. Any of my business partners would tell you, I look at them and I say, you know what you need? You need somebody to do such and such for you. And then I'll either do it or find somebody to do that. Because at the end of the day, when you look back on this relationship, no matter what level this relationship is on, I want you to know that I have your back, you're an asset, and I'm going to be of service. So that's important. Service is a love language. And so you have to find out what is your love language. So be careful with these partnerships. Again, don't meet somebody and jump into a partnership with them until you know how they do things. Until you know how they do things. Because if a person is shysty or they're a scam artist, they're not going to stop at the other people they scam. Most of the time when people scam somebody, they create a pattern and they keep doing it because it's working for them. So when they come to you, they're going to try to do the same thing. Don't go into it like, man, I wish I would try to run game on me. Because 9 times out of 10, if that's your attitude, they're going to run it on you. So take time, pay attention. Some people are not outright scammers. They just don't do good business, and maybe they're not good for you. So I just wanted to say that because so many people are having issues with business partners, business partnerships. I definitely support them. I definitely think that they're a great way for you to get your career, your business, everything off and over to the next level. Absolutely. But you have to court that potential business partner just like you court a potential mate up front. You don't want to be married to somebody that don't like you. You don't want to be married to somebody that don't really support you. You don't want to be married to somebody that don't want to see you win. You don't want to marry somebody who just don't really want to be bothered with you. You don't want to be married to somebody who's just in it for the money or in it for the benefit or in it just to have children with you. You don't want to be there. The same thing with business. You don't want to be in business with somebody who's just in it for the money. You want to be in business with someone who understands the value in what you bring to the table. And they need to want to see you win just as much as you want to see them win. That's important because a lot of us get into long-term marriages and long-term relationships and long-term business partners with people who really don't want to be bothered with us. They don't want to support us. They don't really hardly like us. They wish we would just kind of go away. And if you're in those types of business relationships with people, it's best to sever those ties because your employees, just like your children, are learning and modeling from you. So if they see you tolerating BS, if they see you tolerating abuse, they're going to define love as abuse and tolerance. And so it's funny because I have a friend of mine, it's not funny, but a friend of mine, it's interesting, I should use that word, who, and I can share this because she and I talked about it, and I told her I wanted to use this as an example. I'll give you guys specifics, but she has a daughter who's in high school, and her daughter was dating a guy, and the guy's like a star athlete on a team in the high school, but the guy treats her daughter like crap. He's always disrespecting her when, he's around his friends. He don't want to talk to her. It's just a lot of disrespect. I'll say it that way. And so she took her daughter to see a counselor because it got bad. The daughter was always crying, always upset. And the counselor asked her daughter, and she's a minor, so my friend had to attend with her daughter. The counselor said, so why do you think that this is okay? Why do you think that this is how you need to define love? And why do you stay in this relationship with this boy who you're just not happy with? Forget him. What about you? You're just not happy. You're not feeling, you're not getting fulfilled. You're not getting everything you want out of it. You're not happy. Why do you stay? And she said, Mommy stayed with Daddy, and that's how he treats her. And my friend said she could have went through the floor. She said she cried for days over that because she always stayed in the relationship for the kids. And so what she didn't realize, though, was that she was teaching her children that this is what marriage looked like. This is what that partnership looked like. So think about that in business. Think about that in business. Some of us are like, I'm sticking around because the money is so good and it's all of that. You may need to make some adjustments because just like that is not healthy, what I just described to you is not healthy for you to be in a business partnership with someone where you have those same types of dynamics. Your employees are looking at you. You might think that you're taking the high road. Well, I'm doing this so everybody can get paid, so I can keep the doors of the business open. I got to do this. But are you really being respected? You think that they're going to respect you because they see you making these sacrifices. Not necessarily. Because what you're teaching those people who are looking up to you is that the way you define these partnerships, and then you're saying a good partnership is one where you're abused, one where you're disregarded, one where you're not happy. And so when your children, when your employees, when the people who look up to you and that are around you feel like it's okay to be in this situation, even if I'm not getting what I need out of this situation, you're actually doing more of a disservice than you are actually serving them. So again, that may not be that important to some people. Some people are like, it's whatever, I'm staying because I'm staying for this, I'm staying for the money, whatever. But don't lie and say you're doing it for the respect of the children, or you're doing it for the employee. You're doing it because that's just what you choose to do at that particular point in time. Well, see, if you kind of know my philosophy on that, if you go into a partnership with me, then you might feel like, if you think you can treat me any kind of way in a partnership, you have to know that I'm going to be like, because I'm going to show you how to treat me. I'm going to teach you how to treat me, because I'm going to treat you the way I want to be treated and then some. However, I'm not going to tolerate the mistreatment in the business relationship. Again, like I said, my autism don't work like that. And I'm not making fun of nobody that got autism. I'm pretty clear that I'm on the spectrum. It just don't work like that. It messes with my OCD. It messes with all of that. I want things to be good, and I want things to flow. And so those are just some of the things I look for in that business partnership courtship. And that's what you should look for as well. So even if you go overseas, let me say this one last thing and then I'm going to jump off of here. Even if you go overseas, a lot of people are going to Africa and they love going to Africa, and they say, hey, I want to do business in Africa. I've been to Africa a lot of times, okay, probably over 10 times. And let me tell you something. It takes time to be able to build the right relationship to do business in Africa. If you go there your first time, and then on the second time you building a partnership, 9 times out of 10, you don't know enough about them. They don't know enough about you, and it's not going to work. Couple things. For example, it's a different system. So while you might be making money with those people, if they're in a position where they have a lot of other people in their family that they have to take care of, and let's say somebody gets sick and they need $50,000 to fly to Europe to get a surgery, well, they're going to use your money. They're not going to call you and ask you or wait. They're going to use your money and then ask you, can you give them some more? Why? Because they got to save themselves. They may not have an insurance program. They can go give their Aetna card or their Blue Cross Blue Shield card or their Medicare or Medicaid card. They got to pay cash. Kidney transplants, dialysis, things like that. They have to pay for that. If they have a funeral, you're not talking about life insurance that's paying for the funeral. Somebody dies, somebody got to pay for it. So they will go and use your money to pay for it. And then look at you like, well, my mom got sick. See, you might feel like they stole from you, but they looking like, I don't know what you wanted me to do. Because it's a different system. We also, as black people, we have a love affair, a romance with Africa. And so a lot of us, we grow up dreaming of going back to Africa, honoring Africa, loving Africa, just thinking in our minds like, man, we going back home. Well, everybody over there don't see you like that. Everybody over there is not waiting for you to come back. They may not be singing on the shores and dancing. So you got to work through that. Most of us have never been around all black leadership before. So you got to go there and get used to that. Because that's another level of discernment that you need to have. Some of us don't understand the different scams and things that are run. So you want to go there, but you have to court and find people who think like you. And I would suggest to people that find somebody that don't have a lot to lose. So in other words, if something happens in their family or in their life, see, because people get pressure. You may be in business with somebody that's really cool and you love them. They done made you a chief in the village. And for most of us, that's all it takes. All they got to do is make us a chief. We trace back our ancestry. They send us over there. They make us a chief. And then next thing you know, we investing and doing business. Well, that person may know somebody who knows somebody who puts pressure on them to use your money to do some other things. So you got to stay there and understand and know the system. Some countries are under the British law. Others are under the French law. Others are under the Dutch laws. You need to know those laws. You need to understand whether or not you can really own property. Somebody trying to tell you can own property, but really you can. It's a 99-year lease, or maybe you can't, period. All of that is part of the business, relationship, courtship process. It took me years to find people in Africa that I could trust. Not because the people are distrustful, but because I understand how they think and they understand how we think. And we still talk and work to get to know each other. You got to do the same thing here in the States. Don't jump out here, y'all, and go into these partnerships with people because all of a sudden their baggage is going to become your baggage. They got people suing them over customer service issues or lack of delivery of services issues. That becomes your problem once you attach your name to that person. So, all right, y'all, that's my spiel on partnerships that y'all been asking me about. I hope that helps. Make sure you all click the link in the bio. I want to see y'all at the Silver Room. We're doing an amazing fundraiser for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House. It's an event that you don't want to miss. I'm talking about celebrities. I'm talking about people. Look, it's Chi-Town, summertime. It's on. But listen, come to the fundraiser. Seriously, you don't want to miss this event. We just landed another celebrity co-host the other day. We're going to start announcing these things very, very soon. If you want to make a donation, just go to sajdahhousedonations.com. That's sajdahhousedonations.com. Look, don't chip and dip me. Y'all know I come out here and give whatever information that I can. The event is May 20th at the Silver Room, 1506 East 53rd Street in Chicago, Illinois. It's from 5 to 8 p.m. You don't want to miss this event. Matter of fact, you don't want to miss nothing we getting ready to have from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House that is now listed on the National Historic Registry. We've been working quietly, but we've been moving. And Allah is ever so with us. Every time we turn the corner. I told y'all know how my mind works. It's something got to be happening every day. Some progress got to happen every single day. We are so excited. The finish line is near. We're now less than 80%, less than 20% away from being done. We're now over 80% complete. Finish line is on the way. So I don't care. Give $100, $250, $500, $1,000, $2,500. You get something from us at every single level. And so go to sajdahhousedonations.com. If you want to get your coins, you just go to sajdahhouse.com. So, all right, peace and blessings, family. Enjoy the weather. Look at this beautiful sun and all this beautiful greenery that's coming up. It's just a sign of our beautiful Creator. And remember, you are here for a reason. So, peace and blessings. Make sure you subscribe and like the Sajdah Wendy Muhammad YouTube channel. We'll be back there Wednesday for the Mo Today series on Black Muslim businesses. Be careful with those partnerships, y'all.